Hi, I'm Joe Hyde with San Angelo Live, and sitting with me once again is August Pfluger, who is running for Congress from this area. And just to let you know a little bit about how we do these videos, we don't really have a set schedule, and August made himself available twice, but anyone who's running for Congress is welcome to come talk to us and talk to our audience and talk to you guys about what they want to do. But we have an election for the 11th Congressional District. It spans from Granbury all the way through San Angelo, all the way out to Midland. Did I describe it right?
Odessa and then down to Llano.
Llano's on the other side, yeah. So, and right now, Mike Conaway, who's very beloved, and everyone loves to hear him talk. He's a very good interviewer, by the way. If you ever get him off on jokes and stuff, he's really, but he's retiring. And so we have a whole lot of candidates out there. But one of the things that August has done is he has visited all counties. There's 29
counties.
29 counties in this 11th Congressional District, and you just finished the tour. All right, so you had to go talk to all these politicos and things like that in all these various communities. What did you learn that you didn't think you would learn?
Well, it's a great question. And first of all, thank you, Joe, for having me here, because after we announced on the 12th of September, we came and did an interview, our first interview for you. And at that time, you asked me, what we were planning to do. And I said, we're going to go visit all 29 counties. And so we've just finished.
And I made fun of you. I said, you're like Beto.
And we're definitely not like that.
He's a Republican, by the way, in case you didn't.
I am a conservative Republican. I'm a Christian. I believe in defending the Second Amendment and securing our border. And
so does Beto, but he'll take your guns away.
And we are going to protect those rights. And we have learned a lot.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that, first off, it's humbling to go to all 29 counties and to talk to cotton farmers in La Mesa, ranchers in Menard and Kimball County, folks that are running small businesses in Brown County and all the way up into Hood County. And so the district is diverse in the way that people are putting food on the table, but we're homogenous in our values, and that's one of the things that I've learned. Is that
all right, what are the values that a typical, 11th congressional districtor has?
It's a conservative district.
Okay, and so describe what you said. Why would you say it's conservative?
People believe in faith. First and foremost, this district is a very Christian district. We believe in strong family values. We believe in defending our Second Amendment rights, just like the Constitution was written. It's a pro-life district, and I'm going to protect the unborn and be a voice for the unborn.
Was there anything that you learned that you are reconsidering what you, we're getting into filtering down into the lower issues, but some of the things you kind of had reconsidered your own presuppositions or beliefs? Anything you learned?
Not from a value standpoint or principles, but from when you talk to farmers and ranchers and understand that we only have 2% of our population that knows how to farm and ranch, and that number is decreasing. Farmers and ranchers need a voice.
Right.
And that I want to be the voice for our agriculture community. In fact, we just met with members of the Texas Farm Bureau today and are advocating for the agricultural production in this district, of which all 29 counties have. We just got an endorsement from the Texas Sheep and Goat Raisers Association, and expect more of those endorsements to come out, because I think that they understand that my family's been in this business for 7 generations, and what we're learning through all 29 counties is important.
And of course, if you won, you would be following in the footsteps of Mike Conaway, who is an ag committee chairman. And he actually was a big part of authoring the latest farm bill.
That's right.
Has anyone complained about that farm bill?
No, there haven't been a lot of complaints. In fact, I recently spoke to Representative Conaway, and of the places that we're going in the 29 counties, his approval rating is really high. And he said, my approval rating is superb since I announced retirement. And he joked about it. But no, people really appreciate what he's done for the agricultural community and being a voice in D.C. for rural America and for our values.
All right, so I've been told that I can't talk to you about airplanes, but you're just an old fighter pilot, which, from a bomber community standpoint, fighter pilots don't know jack. All right. So how does a fighter pilot learn this stuff about agriculture? I guess you're relying on your roots.
Well, first off, fighter pilots protect bomber pilots, and so. I'll take exception with that.
So that we can get bombs on target.
It's a good question. I went to the Air Force Academy, but I grew up in a ranching family.
Right.
And so the the values that I grew up with, hard work, persistence, faith in God, Texas grit, allowed me to become a fighter pilot. It's the same thing that will allow me to be a voice for agriculture, to be a voice for oil and gas, to be a voice for Goodfellow Air Force Base, who is training thousands of airmen that are doing intelligence work.
To wear brown shoes.
And they're doing some great work.
They are. And we need more of the mission out here. We need more infrastructure into Goodfellow, like particularly internet infrastructure, telecom, so we can do more, I guess, drone
No,
stuff.
you're right. I mean, the future lies in intelligence. The future lies in knowing what is going on around the world. Goodfellow is the heart and soul of that, not just for the Air Force, but also for the other services. It's really a joint fight, and it needs to be represented at a level to which, this is very personal for me, being an Air Force officer for almost 20 years and using intelligence and being a commander of an intelligence squadron, that this is very important.
All right, so segueing from Goodfellow, obviously that's foreign policy. A little bit of your wheelhouse is foreign policy.
Absolutely.
Okay. You know, we can sit here and talk about the nuts and bolts of foreign policy, but you were in the White House and you were kind of around all these Trump people, right? And, you know, there's all this controversy about Trump, that he's unhinged and the people around him are unhinged. What is it really like in the Trump White House? Is it a whole bunch of crazy people running around screaming like you hear in the media here?
No, and the president, I've said this before on this show and in other venues, that he cares deeply about this country, and the folks that are working for him also care deeply for the country. And what I will say about my experience in the White House is that we worked hard every day to provide the best policy options that we could to keep this country secure, which is what I want to continue to do as the congressman for the 11th district.
What kind of let's go into some of the thought process that that you think about. I'll just pull one out of the hat here. What about like Syria? Syria was kind of controversial. You could have gone one way or the other. You could see the menu of options that you had for Syria, although none of the options were very good. You'd stay there, leave. I guess build up a force there, take the whole thing over. What do you think about? Well, just talk about the whole Syria situation. Should we have pulled out?
Well, I think, first off, the president, when he campaigned in the 2016 election, said that he wanted to reduce our troop presence in the Middle East, and that was something that he campaigned on. I have personally fought alongside the Kurds. I have 300 hours against ISIS in the Middle East, in Iraq and Syria.
You mean 300 flying hours?
300 flying hours of combat.
That's a lot in a fighter.
It's a lot.
Cramped up.
It's a lot. It is. It's a lot of hours. But we fought alongside the Kurds to defeat ISIS, who is a really terrible enemy. And so when the president wanted to reduce our troop presence there, he had to balance a lot of different things inside Syria that were geopolitics played out with Russia's presence there, a civil war, the Iranians sending proxy groups into Syria. And so I believe that he's doing the best he can. Our Department of Defense is adjusting at this point in time to that plan. And so while not perfect, he has built a buffer zone to allow the Kurds some sort of protection that as of right now, with presence still in Iraq, and the jury's still out on this, but I think he is successfully navigating a very, very difficult situation.
As a congressman, you might be called on to criticize a decision by Trump. Could you do that?
Well, I think that's when you look at the checks and balances of how our government was formed, the legislative branch is a check in our government, and so my representation of this district is first and foremost to the constituents, the 750,000 plus constituents of this district.
All right, the big news this week, or actually today, this is Wednesday, right? Wednesday this week, the House is voting to impeach President Trump for things that happened near and dear to where you worked, right? It was involving the Ukraine and National Security Council, things like that. What do you think about that?
Well, I think while I did never work on those issues, it seems to be a distraction and a ploy by the Democratic Party to halt business and to halt governance. And one example is that last week, as they kind of made it known that these were the articles that they intended to use for impeachment, that we had a trade deal that's been waiting in the shadows, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade deal, which is a follow-on to NAFTA, that helps the farmers and ranchers and the energy industry and the small businesses right here in this district. And yet they were holding that hostage and not putting that towards a vote until, after they could go through some of these theatrics. And so, I think that the way that the impeachment proceedings have transpired with a lack of transparency, behind closed doors, not in the view of the American public, it calls into question how the process was done by the other party.
Well, there's a whole lot being written about right now in the opinion pages about the mistrust of the Republicans. Like highly engaged Republicans have a large mistrust in the media. I think it's like 16% of highly engaged Republicans trust the national media, right? But on the other hand, the highly engaged Democrats, political Democrats, the woke Democrats, so to speak, 91% of them trust the national media. So you have this collision of ideas, and you don't have any voice over here on the Republican side. You got almost universal calamity. They're talking about the constitutional crisis and things like that. When you're a representative for this district, you're going to represent Democrats too.
Absolutely.
So what can you tell to them to I guess relieve them that you're not going to just go in there and bang the Trump drum and say he's innocent no matter what, the things that you hear they're saying on the other side?
Well, I support President Trump, and I think that he's doing things to put this country in a position that are going to make it stronger. But what I can say is that I was raised to be respectful. Mm-hmm. I've had a career in the military where you have mutual respect, and you don't always get to pick your peers. You don't always get a chance to pick who you're serving with. And so as somebody who has served in the military for almost 2 decades, and I know that you know this, I'm going to respect the other side.
I was a bomber pilot. I just blew them up. Just kidding.
Well, we...
with your protection,
with
of
my
course.
protection, that's right. We're going to respect all the viewpoints, but I'm still going to remain principled to defend the Second Amendment, pro-life, and to secure the border. And that's where I stand with the president with what he's trying to do.
Okay.
On those issues, I stand with him.
Do you think Trump's going to get? You think he's going to get removed from office?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you think Trump will get reelected?
I do think he will get reelected.
And why do you think he's going to get reelected? I mean, he has all that media against him. Everyone's talking bad about him.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the sad things about where this country is and the divisive nature is that what I'm hearing throughout District 11 is we have somebody who's willing to fight for us.
Right.
The president is fighting for the values that we believe in, and he's fighting to make the country stronger. And so people see that he's doing what he set out to do. He's accomplishing things, only to be held back by a non-transparent and some would say unfair process to him. And so I think that silent majority that elected him in 2016 is going to come back in full force, and potentially this impeachment proceeding could be that catalyst to ignite more folks to get out to the polls.
Kind of like the Kavanaugh thing dampened the 2018 turnout for the Democrats. I mean, really, that wasn't that great of a win. They thought they said that was going to be the blue wave, right? It turned out to be kind of a bathtub full of water.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, fizzled. One more thing I was going to ask you: the campaign. Let's talk about you've been trumpeting these press releases about all this money you're raising and things like that. Of the people's money that you've raised out there, I mean, how hard is it to be an unknown? You just started up. You haven't really run for city council or anything like Lacey, one of your Lacey Ross, one of your opponents. How hard has that been to convince them that you're ready to go?
Well, I think that people appreciate the fact that I'm not a politician, I'm a leader. And that I'm going to fight, just like I've done in the military, for this district and for the things that are important to this district. And so what they understand is that I'm fortunate to be a 7th-generation Texan from a ranching family that then went to the Air Force Academy and served 2 decades. And they see the service before self attitude. And we talked about this before, that is why people are really encouraged about our campaign. And it's not just from one portion or part of the district. We're getting a lot of support from Midland, Odessa, a ton of support from the San Angelo and surrounding areas, all the way up into Hood County. and all throughout.
And Hood County's Granbury.
And that's right, Granbury. And so, it's not about money. It's about votes. And we're really encouraged by the support that we have by the people who are volunteering. We have a headquarters here, 407 West Tuig.
All right, so 407
West Tuig.
West Tuig. So that's a little bit to the west of downtown
Right.
on Tuig Street. Okay.
Yep, and that's our headquarters. We have signs. There's a place for volunteers to
So
sign up.
if you want a Pfluger sign, you can go by 407
Come by
West Tuig.
during business hours. We're open 6 days a week. We've got
Do you have little red hats?
We've got
I'm just
white
kidding.
hats.
White hats. All right.
That's right. It says Pfluger for Congress.
Okay.
And there's shirts and there's ways to sign up. And the outpouring of volunteers who want to join the campaign, not just here but also around the district, has been humbling. And we're really excited about that momentum. And so, as we get to January, we've got 87 days left until the election, and March 3rd is the primary.
I have a question. One more question about this campaign, and we'll wrap it up. What have you learned about? Just the campaigning part. Do you work 12 hours a day? What is it like, and what was your day-to-day schedule like?
I'm glad you asked that. First off, my wife is an absolute hero, and my kids. It's a sacrifice for the whole family.
Right.
And the time commitments, they are long days. They're incredible days. We have met so many incredible people throughout this district, have had conversations and understanding what is important to folks, what they want in a representative. And that's been humbling to think that we could represent them and their interest and be their voice in Congress. And so, the days are long. We've put almost 13,000 miles on my truck in the last about 2 months. And
Time to get a new one.
And no, we're not getting a new one. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep visiting as many people, meeting as many people as we possibly can.
Okay.
But March 3rd is coming up quicker than we realize. We're encouraged, but we're gonna keep.
And
working
March
as hard.
3rd is the Republican and also Democrat. That's the primary day for
That's right.
Texas. And by then we'll know who there'll be down to like 2 or 3 Democratic candidates by then, so we'll know what's going to happen. One of the interesting things about Tom Green County is we only have one Democratic candidate running, and that's for the Democrat county chair. What do you feel about that? We don't have any Democrats.
Well, I think it shows a little bit of where this district is. It's the second most conservative district in the country. And so, I don't know that I have specific thoughts on that. I think that when you look at the Republican Party, which I'm a conservative Republican, that we do have a lot of people that are raising their hands in different positions throughout this district, not just in Tom Green County. And so that is refreshing to see. All throughout, there's people who do want to stand up and serve. And I'm excited about the chance to serve and take what I learned in the military, growing up in a ranching family, having ties to the oil and gas business, and have a service before self attitude.
If you can win the votes.
That's exactly right. And we plan to do that.
It's good talking to you again.
Joe, thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to another conversation.
We'll have one.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Joe Hyde of Angelo Live. This has been August Pfluger running for Congress, 11th Congressional District.